Start.
All right. So the first question I put up is: do you think that the maker process should be part of the curriculum or even a separate course? I think that goes to Michael's
Yeah, that
question.
was my question indeed. Do you guys want me to answer my own question first, or do you want to put your own thoughts in?
Um, well, I guess yeah, just if you can expand on that, like if that's like the question completely, then sure. But like, is there anything else you wanted to add to it?
Not really. Just more so like, should we integrate these maker ideas into our current courses, or should we create a course that is based on the maker idea?
Okay. Um, I guess I'll start. I think that like it honestly depends, I guess, on the school, but depending on like how comfortable the teachers are in the school, I think that either this like maker mentality can be implemented in like different units within many different courses because it could be like artsy or like sciencey or mathy, so it can really go into any course. But if it's like a school full of teachers who may feel like intimidated by that process, then you would probably try to have maybe like even clubs do this, but to have like a course would be pretty cool that students could take.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should become like, I think it should be part of the curriculum because like just hands-on skills are important for life when it comes to like even just fixing something around the house and like people, kids are losing that nowadays. And I had a question similar to this one actually. It was like, um, similar to this, should it become popular part of the curriculum or separate course? And like you
Mm-hmm.
could integrate it not seamlessly but easier if you just took like 5 or 10 minutes from each of the courses of like a 4 period day and just have like a 30-minute maker at the end or something, or maybe like once or twice a week just so it doesn't disrupt because there's already like more than enough time like more on the everyday class time because like an hour 15 minutes is a lot for one course. You can definitely condense a lesson, but I think these are
Mm-hmm.
useful skills which kids want to keep.
Or even if you don't condense it, I mean, you could probably just have them like use the maker pedagogy and implement it into your lessons, implement it into the projects you assign instead of just giving them a paper to write. They can build something or make something or program something or whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I feel like if you are going to include, maker pedagogy or um, maker learning in the curriculum, I feel like it would be part of a course rather than an entire course itself. Although it would be cool to
Yeah.
have a course, I just wonder about the logistics of creating a course that, revolves entirely around maker technology and the maker process, right?
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a bunch of things you can do. Like
Yeah.
in both of my physics courses that I took in high school, our final project was basically a maker project. We had to actually use our knowledge to make something
Hmm.
and make it work,
Yeah.
which was really fun
Probably
and
like yeah,
really,
final projects are probably like the easiest place to have maker
Yeah,
stuff
like
in, of
common
course.
meetings
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah.
ISUs.
Yeah, ISU is definitely something I mentioned in my async that like if I was doing chem and wanted to integrate this in, like normally in the sciences, I'm not really 100% sure about the other courses that there's an ISU integrated. So why not take that ISU and make them build, some sort of instrument or I mean instrument as an analytical, but I in physics like literally an instrument. Like I remember
Yeah.
as Chase mentioned for my final project for physics, I had to make a some sort of physics device. So I made a xylophone out of tubes.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's more of a marimba, is it? I don't know. Anyway, point aside, it was something that was a lot of trial and error, and I had to kind of like use what I knew, connecting with my own thoughts, and then building upon that, sort of like the build process that was mentioned in the async slides. So
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Our
also
our
like
project.
go ahead, Chase.
Go ahead,
integrating like
Roxanne.
sorry, integrating different courses. Like you can integrate like math into the physics part, so you can like build something like that's a musical instrument and make sure that all of the mathematics of it work, and then build it in the physics or in the shop class or something like that, or build it for a music class or use it as an instrument in band then.
Yeah.
So like you can integrate it across the different subject areas, but I guess it would have to be more of a very seamless process where teachers work together across departments
Hmm.
to be able to do projects like that because as a physics teacher, I'm sure you don't want math teachers infringing on your space, and vice versa, and such, so forth.
I don't know. Nothing wrong with some collaboration.
No,
Yeah.
if you
Be
can
nice.
get the teachers to move from one department to the other to collaborate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we move on to the next question then?
Let's do the next question. So the next one is, seeing as the budget for makerspace don't always exist in every school, what could you as a teacher in such a school do to still provide your students with maker activities, either in class or at home? And this kind of touches upon what we were just discussing, I would assume.
Can I start with
Yeah.
this
So,
off?
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I've noticed a lot, I'm a frequent user of YouTube, and a lot of weird videos get recommended as YouTube's algorithms kind of screwy. But there's a lot of kits out there actually that are relatively inexpensive that kind of promote the whole maker idea. I'm seeing a lot more specifically in terms of programming and building like computers and technology, like the Arduino for instance. Yeah, honestly, like if I as a teacher would want to provide students with that activity. Like if I could get a few kits and the students could maybe rent out these kits for a while. Like I said, they're relatively inexpensive. So worst case, like if the school doesn't have the budget and I put it out of my own pocket, it's not that much to replace if something breaks or go missing. But I feel like it'd be kind of a little fun activity for the students to do it. And if not at home, then I could just have the same thing, but in class.
Yeah, and even like getting like a kit, like a makey or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, I think, like, so especially, like, schools that don't have the budgets for this kind of stuff, and maybe they're, like, also these schools are in communities where, like, there is, like, perhaps, like, lower level of income. I think that just to, like, express excitement or interest into the applications of the things that you're teaching in class and, like, showing them what they could do and encouraging them to, like, make things at home and, like, takes videos of them and show them to you in class and just having them apply the stuff they're learning outside of class and show them the ways that they can do that, I feel like would definitely introduce that to a class that doesn't have those resources.
Good.
I also think you can like reach out to your students, and because like we know most families are always like throwing out so much like cardboard and like paper and like old old furniture that could be used for maker space, or like even old like electronics, right? All this stuff, instead of throwing out, students could like bring into the classroom if there's like a project in mind and sort of ongoing. So by like the end of the year, you have like a stock supply of things you can build with and use.
And that's the thing. Like for some of the projects that I did when I was in high school that were maker focused, it's like use things that you found in your own house. So using household items, right? People can bring in, like Anis just said, any garbage that might be useful or anything you were going to get rid of, those can, in some way, you can probably find a use for them, in building something. Like everything, like everything we did in my grade 12 physics project was to build a Rube Goldberg machine. Everything we used was found in one of our basements.
Nice. In my last placement,
Cool.
my teacher had like all of his shelves with boxes and pieces of wood and just like scraps here and there, and I was asking him like, well, what are you doing with this? And this is grade 8. He's like, oh, for the 7/8 for their structures unit, they do a lot of the hands-on making stuff, and so just if he goes around into garage sales or whatever, sees a bunch of wood lying on like somebody's lawn that they're about to throw out, he'll like go out and grab it and just bring it to school, and he stockpiles it that way.
Very crafty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sort of have to like think about it all the time. Like when you get the opportunity, pick it up, bring it to school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like dinner
And it's not a
boxes
hard
for
habit to
little
get
kids
into.
or whatever. Yeah. No.
So
Okay.
next question.
And the third question is, so do you think that the removal of woodshop, metalworks, and other workshops we used to have in our schools have reduced the makerness of our students, and should we introduce them to that? I think I want to start this one off, and I want to say yes. Because I remember doing workshop and woodshop, and it was so much fun. I still have the little trinkets, the things that I made, and it was just like, you kind of get, you're not, I don't know, I feel like a lot of kids these days are put into somewhat of a bubble, and we want to protect our students, and we want to protect our kids from getting hurt, and I want to protect them as well, but kids need to learn the things, like how to live in the world, how to do things for themselves, how to change a light bulb, how to screw in whatever, and without those type of things, they don't know how to.
I definitely remember my workshop from like grade, I think it was grade 10 or grade 11. I can't remember which one, but yeah, it was definitely really fun. Be able to like just go in and just use your hands to create things. I like made like a coffee table, even remember it. Like I didn't never use the stuff afterwards, but just one of the fondest memories, I guess, from high school is those types of classes.
Yeah.
It's always nice looking at something you built. Like I remember, like in high school, you had like all these machines, the band saws, the table saws, everything where you can like lose a finger. And now they like made certain saws illegal in schools. Because it was my second placement, 7A. She was like a huge makerspace person, so she would always go to these conferences, and like they would just like keep listing more and more things that students can't. Apparently, X-Acto knives too are gonna get cut.
Yeah.
But then how, the question I have then is, when kids go out into the workforce, go into colleges or to labor jobs, because some of our kids are going to, how do we prepare them for that reality if they don't know how to use these objects and we haven't taught them the proper safety procedures and protocols to be able to use them effectively and safely? They're going to get hurt.
Yeah. Can I weigh in on this a little bit?
Go ahead.
So I've had the opportunity to work with an electrician for like 3 or 4 years. I don't anymore, but me myself, like when I was in high school, I also took shop class. I use those techniques regularly. Like we did a lot of electronic work, soldering. Like literally just yesterday, I was soldering a guitar pickups. So I feel like they're really transferable traits. Now, when it comes to the workforce, and I feel like this kind of ties back into the whole removal of the classes in general. Everyone seems to be more towards a math and science approach nowadays. Like it seems like everyone seems to focus. Sorry, I said the word seems like 8 times there, but we are focusing more on math and science than really anything else, and that's fine. You know, we're gonna have a lot of people who want to go to university and pursue math and science, which is great. You know, the world does need math and science too, but you know, you have all the other people who may, you know, not be as adept in math or science, or may not even like it, and these skills that they could develop during like wood shop or metalworks or just shop class in general at the earlier grades can be kind of transferred into the trades. Like you can't do science if you don't have a building to do science in, right? And who's going to build the buildings if no one's doing the stuff anymore? So definitely, like, I found everything I learned in high school, early high school, when I did all the shop stuff, extremely beneficial when I started working a trade. And like, I'm a science and math guy myself. I never thought I would be put in a position where I'd be working a trade, but just I kind of am glad that I did the shop, because it would have been a lot riskier, I guess, if I didn't, as Roxana was mentioning. So yeah.
I can only
And also,
imagine.
but you also need science. If you're going to do electrician or whatever, you also need science to be able to understand what you're working with.
Exactly.
So it has to work in collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if students don't get a chance to even practice, they might like fall in love with it if they did it, but they never did it once. They never know like how good they. Someone might be like the best carpenter ever and like could start like a successful business.
Yeah.
But if they never
Hence going back to the first question of should making be part of the curriculum, and I think we just kind of confirmed that it absolutely should be. You know, give everybody the opportunity to try making or using tools, building things. It might inspire, it probably would inspire people to say, hey, I really enjoyed, you know, designing this and building this. Maybe I should go into something where I'm designing and building, and then architecture, or going into the trades, which is, I think, the shame of removing, though I never took them, you know, the shop classes, because it gives people an opportunity to try out their hand at those, and, you know, really, whether they intended to or not, really to discover how much they enjoy building or using their hands and working in the trades.
Yeah, and it's great when you have like digital literacy and programming skills and things like that, and you are able to model it on a program and then go out and with your own hands make that thing a reality.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
think it's important for these. It's like it really hones your design process because it's a lot easier to like take part of the design process when you're building something, but a lot harder when you're like writing an essay or like doing a lab or something,
Yeah.
which is on paper. But if you like do it in person and with your hands, it might be easier for students to translate those skills into the classroom environment more so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that like even as a teacher though, like having like these types of activities in your classes probably would make the class that much more fun for you. Just
Yeah,
to have
exactly.
like you can like
Improve the
just
whole morale.
involve yourself in like the making of these different things with different students, and like you get to see the
Yeah.
variety, and then like that continues from year to year, and you can like introduce things to new years from like previous year's projects and get students thinking. It's probably like just a better system, I think.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Probably wrap it up. It's been like half an hour, and I don't. Poor Stephanie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening.
Good talk.